Hello everyone. It's good to be back. As
Good
we're
to be
back, umbraCoffee. Which episode we are in? 258. I needed to check.
Does that mean I missed 256?
Yeah, possibly. We need to check out.
That's annoying.
But,
Yeah, I was going to say, actually, so firstly, this is the longest break I've ever taken
Ever.
from umbraCoffee. But actually, it's the longest umbraCoffee break ever as well. When was the
Yeah.
last episode? Was it just before Christmas, 22nd?
Yes, the last one was me and Rune summarizing the year and going through some kind of visions and wishes and dreams for the next year. But hey, you were already out and off, so that's the long break. And I felt weird every week. To be fair, it's like a missing part of this Friday's schedule.
It's been a while since we've heard that theme song here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But we are back, and we are joined today by Matt. Hi, Matt. How was your entrance to the new year?
Good. It was confusing last week, not having umbraCoffee. There was a fair bit of confusion in discourse. A lot of people were like, "Where is it?" Completely missed it. You were off.
I think we just completely disappeared without trace.
I can probably reveal this because Matt messaged me a day before or 2 days before with a link. I released it. This is an amazing package I've been working on recently, fully community open. So I said, Matt, but you know that we are not doing umbraCoffee this week, right? So, no, I don't.
It's a weird one, right? That first week back in January. It's interesting. Loads of people were asking for an episode, or there's some confusion on Discord because every other year, we've been doing this 5 years now. Every other year, it's Marcin and I and maybe like 5 people watching that week because no one's working. So when I said to Marcin, I'm going away for a while, maybe we just call it a proper break over Christmas, start back on the 13th. And he was like, yeah, okay, that sounds great. I didn't think anyone would be expecting an episode. We've always struggled through that week, and yet.
But what I can say, at looking on the comments right now, everyone was kind of awaiting this, and it's great to see you guys all in front of your screens now, and good to see you all back. That was really a nice break, and we needed a break as well. And yeah, we are back on track. New year, new us, guys. Any receptions? Any plans for this year?
I think I revealed mine. I think I revealed mine in the end of last year. I've not publicly committed to this yet, but I'm going to. I'm on a health mission, which is very typical, isn't it, of like a New Year's thing? But I've set myself deadlines. I've got goals, all kinds of stuff. I'm trying to lose 15 kilos, which is quite a lot, but over 6 months. So I've got a target, and I've been on clean eating, clean drinking, whatever else for the past couple of weeks.
I need to get back on the clean eating. I was doing it before Christmas, and then it just all went wrong because I got COVID. And I was like, "Oh, well, I'm not going to clean eat whilst I'm feeling crap."
Yeah, I had this exact conversation with my girlfriend. She's like, "Oh, I think we should be able to have one cheat day a week." Okay, but then that one cheat day a week becomes cheat weekend, and then oh, I've been really busy this week. I can't be bothered to cook anything, so it becomes a cheat, whatever. And
But I was told by a couple of the good friends who achieved their goals with this health and physique part of their life, it's like 80-20 rule, because still you can go and be fit, but then your mental health won't be happy if you will be looking on the donuts or anything else and crying in front of the store, right? So it needs to be healthy both ways, I think, physical and mental wise.
So far, again, only 2 weeks in, but I thought that would happen. I've tried my best to resist, and for me, I've got a motivator now, which I've never had before. Like it's always just been who am I doing this for, right? I've actually got motivation, so nice. I have a goal, and I'll know that I failed myself if I don't do that. So if you're just dieting for the sake of it, it's about trying to find. For me, it's been trying to find interesting ways of doing this without it feeling like a chore. So I'm trying to eat different.
And your goal is valuable enough that you care enough to hit it.
Yeah,
I think that's something I've always found with those kind of like with health goals. It's like, well, what do I want to do? Like, and it's like, well, do I want it enough to go and put myself through, doing exercise, which I actually enjoy doing when I get there. It's getting to the gym that I find difficult.
Yeah, I've been working on a build up to doing exercise. I've not done exercise in years at this point, really. And where like working my way into doing at least, half an hour of aerobic exercise a day, kind of just really boring, monotonous, straight line type stuff. And then eventually do some more exciting things, maybe some swimming or something. But
Nice.
I've realized at the end of last year, I've not looked after my health the best over recent years. I'm going to change that this year. And I was literally a week before Australia. I think the last umbraCoffee episode we did, actually, I was literally bedridden with a muscle injury in my neck, which you don't realize until you lose the motor skills in your neck, the movement in your neck, how important that is. I couldn't lift my arms, I couldn't turn my head, I couldn't look down, I couldn't look up. I was literally, I could barely move. And it was just from months and months and months of really not looking after myself. And then I managed to crick my neck when I was sleeping, and I'm out, I'm done. So it's made me realize the importance of trying to look after myself. I'm going to try this.
And unfortunately, we all need some kind of triggers to realize this one, right? And it was the same for me back in the past. Now it's also kind of doing tests, blood tests and things like that, just to, again, checkpoint myself where I am now. And I started playing basketball. I bought myself new snowboarding shoes. So motivation is in. So let's keep it up, and we will definitely check in for this. And people, all of you, it's fun fact that we are talking about it on the technical software related catch up. But that's the
point at this point, doesn't it?
Maybe that's idea for another streamline of this show. So how about but to be fair,
Umbra crying in a corner.
But to be fair, all of our grandmas and families usually told us, just health. This is the only thing that matters, because if we'll be healthy, if we'll be having power, all the rest is just implementation detail, I would say, right? So, and Matt, anything from your side? Any specific goals, plans for the year?
No, I don't think so. I ended up with RSI in my elbow last year, so from an exercise point of view, I have to keep maintaining that and sorting it out. It's so much better when I do exercise, so that should be my goal. But when it feels better for like a few weeks, you kind of forget that you need to do the maintenance.
Get comfortable
and get back into that routine. Code-wise, I want to keep going with hackathons and PRs and try and find time to do those creative things like this package that we're going to talk about in a bit.
Sounds good. And I think our Umbraco community is always open and helpful in reaching multiple goals, like CG runners that Owen mentioned, a lot of other activities that might help to both keep technical involvement and physical targets on track. And that's a good start. And also Umbraco did a start of the year from a New Year reception too. And I was traveling, I missed it. So did you guys attend or watch it from your side?
I've watched it. It was different to the usual New Year's reception. Firstly, I mean, was it last year the first New Year's reception that had like proper production and it wasn't just someone sitting on a Zoom call?
Yes, that was last year. Yeah.
This was more like a talk show though. So we had Emma who was hosting, we had Philip, Kim, we had Steffi all on the sofa, and then they had some remote guests as well from the US. We had Anders, we had I can't remember the person's name unfortunately, but the new VP of sales person who's heading up the US office over there. Lots of people. Nice. Cara from the community. We had some people from the Netherlands. We had Marcus from Sweden. So the kind of nice look at the different people in the community, and they had little throwback videos to different parts of last year, different highlights. Code Garden, the biggest US summit ever was a headline that was put on there, which made me chuckle a little bit, given that it was the only one. Marketing. But it was.
Yeah, that was good. And you've noted that it was with the focus on sustainability, privacy, and composable DXP for 2023.
That's what Kim said. I mean, so Umbraco's HQ's focuses over the next 12 months are sustainability, privacy, and composable DXP. No surprises there on the last one. The sustainability thing was kind of interesting. It's good to see. They said they're reviewing all of their suppliers and how they can be more sustainable, and they want to become carbon neutral or net zero by the end of the year, which is a goal, which is awesome. The privacy things are a really interesting one. for me, because it's not something we've heard that much about. GDPR feels like it's kind of in the dust a bit. It's happened. It's here. We've got over all of the hype from that. And so if Umbraco are going to try and I don't really remember what Kim said there about what the focus was. If it was trying to bake more privacy focused things into products that they've got, more privacy focused tools for creators, or I don't know. Someone remind me.
I think that sounds really nice, and sustainability was already a topic mentioned on the Gold Partner Summit recently by Andy there, and that was really really nice talk and discussion. And I didn't even realize that this is there are some ways to achieve it that easy to implement from our perspective that might have a big impact on overall. But privacy, I recently had a really nice chat about GDPR directive versus end-of-life software. And I need to educate myself as well on this area, because someone said, and I still need to verify it with someone more competent, that the directive says that if you're processing the data through it and you have the end-of-life software responsible for handling this, you are not allowed to do it. So wow. So that's of course it might be again until the first control by someone, but it would be better to know, right, rather than to not know that. So if Umbraco would be doing an activity on their side to first of all analyze it, provide some maybe information, feedback, and bulletproof the software part against the law, whatever law it is, if it's a European law or US law, etc., that would be awesome, and that's great to hear that this is happening.
I think it really supports those LTS platform options from Umbraco now as well. Yeah. So you're protecting yourself for a longer period of time against those end-of-life dates.
Yeah, exactly. So the reception is possible to be rewatched. That's the information which we wanted to leave you all with, because the registration form is still available. And you've mentioned that it was a little bit different, professionally produced, and of course we all seen his tweets and some frames shared from yesterday.
Very nerve-wracking when Emma revealed an axe. And, didn't know what she was going to do. She's going to smash it to the table or anything, but proceeded to knock the top of a champagne bottle. And I think there's you look in the thread in the replies, there's some other reaction videos. From Philip. Philip got very, very excited.
I can see it.
Trying to find one of the ones here. It's under Owen's.
There was one.
Under Owen's tweet.
So, very exciting start of the year for everyone. So that's good. But it looked professional, and it's great to see the mixed community HQ members. And I will definitely rewatch it, because I realistically missed it through the travel. So that's exciting to start with, and of course that gets into the first releases as well for Umbraco as a product itself. And Rune already wrote a summary of the releases being in place now. It's 11.1 and 10.4 release that are already addressing a lot of interesting features and parts that are right now also backported to 10 version 10. And we've been talking about it before the break, of course, but now it's materialized. So it's here. Everyone can use it, update it, and have fun. And there's also a video.
I mean, I was going to say this is probably the biggest release of the year, but that's a lie, because it's we've got 11 and we've got 12 coming out, and we'll have 13 as well. So it's probably not. But actually, in terms of what's packed into this, there's loads and loads of stuff, and many of it from the community. I don't think I've seen so many community contributors for quite a while on a major, on a core release.
This list showed it pretty well, right? It was like so many names. And
I think there's a lot of Hacktoberfest spillover in there as well. It looks really, really good. I updated a site yesterday. It took minutes, literal minutes. Nice. And you got all the goodness.
Yeah,
I stumbled across it when opening a project. It's out. Instantly updated it, because you know it's going to be no work to do now, so why not?
Sebastian's saying in the chat it's also kind of down to the fact that 11 was around for so long, and then they had to at some point. I remember it distinctly actually that there was a cutoff where they said, well, now everything's going to be targeted at 11.1. So and we've of course, as you mentioned, Marcin, discussed the fact that they backported some stuff to 10.4 because it's the LTS, so people can get those new features in 10.
Exactly.
And it was originally for 10.3 anyway, so it's, I guess, back where it was intended to be.
Yeah, and I think right now there is a lot of potential for exploring it better, because everyone who I spoke with recently is so excited about block grid editor, also about everything performance related too. So now it's the time to play around, and there's information how. And as you've said, if the projects are possible to be updated, the update process is really smooth and should be applied, depends from the LTS perspectives as well, from the various points of view. But it's here, no excuses anymore.
Before we move on quickly, I was going to just note something that I sent to our team during the New Year's reception. They played a clip that kind of chopped up different bits from the various product updates and the unboxing videos that people do, and I sort of posted in the channel, oh, maybe this is a reminder that anyone on one of these videos needs to always look and sound enthused, because there's all these pictures of Warren or Seb or Runa there. It's like, this is the 5th video of this I've done this year, and they're sitting there like, oh. It's very amusing to see those all clipped together.
Yeah, that's but still, it's great to see also this videos, because I as I've mentioned to someone, we don't need to install it anymore to exactly explore what's inside of them, and that's my personal also takeaway, that I watched the video, I have it all in my mind already and done. So. Community releases, as you mentioned, Callum, usually the beginning of the year was more silent, or there was not so much happening. But this time there is a set of releases that we can talk about, starting from our Umbraco block preview package from Rick. And this one enables the HTML previews for block list and block grid editors. That's really nice to see it, and this is another approach to take this take block list and grid editors to next levels with the creativity of the previous code to be built. I don't know yet, and I don't know if you guys explored, but how it combines with the previews that are possible to be configured from the
well, I think these are just some presets. So I think Rick's made some like common examples of things that aren't included in the regular core one. So they're very basic out of the box things. I think he's got more data stuff there.
It's built on Dave's 24 Days article from not last year, but the year before. So it's doing MVC based previews.
Okay.
You can see the credit at the bottom there. There's also my article from last year now, weirdly, where I was doing the review components, and so he's packaged those up to be usable, so you don't have to do Angular based previews if you don't want to.
Okay, and that's exactly
the usual overhead with that, but from a developer point, it can be a lot easier.
Nice. So yeah, it's been released now, ready to use. The next one is your package, CSP Manager, that has not only been released before the umbraCoffee, that didn't happen, but you've updated it and patched the package with the patch release this week. Tell us and the people more about it. What it does.
So it allows you to manage a content security policy for your front end site and your back office through that UI section you can see there, which I really need to fix on the NuGet page because you can't see that image. But basically it allows you to do it instead of doing it in the way where you do it by like frame source or script source, instead you do it by your URLs and the actual sources, so that you can, a bit easier for people to use instead of having to know exactly how a CSP works, and it's more focused on the domain than the directive.
Nice.
Lots more features planned, but again, this was something I started in Hacktoberfest. I spent a good 2 hours in the Hacktober Zoom call I had to think then. And that ended up me working with Dave, and I can't remember his surname. It's really annoying me. But we spent like 2 hours working on the migrations for the database tables for this package to work. I then got stupidly busy with work, so I built a project board in GitHub saying this is my plan and what I want to do. And then someone in the Discord community called Digiplex, it's not on Twitter, no idea what their actual name is. The only thing I know about them, went off and wrote bits of the middleware. They integrated they did all the UI of the back office. They did the controller for that back office interface and everything. Someone else called Jacob, he went and did the GitHub actions for it. And then all I've done is really the kind of baseline, get the project started. I've done a load of unit testing and the marketing around the Umbraco marketplace. But a lot of that work is just the community. And I know that Jacob now is looking at the sandbox attribute on CSP and starting to look at that and adding that to the features. So it's a real community effort on that package. It's certainly not mine by any stretch of the imagination.
You're more like a facilitator of the package release process.
Really nice. Just to go like, I've got this great idea. I've been talking about it. I've reached a point where I don't want this project to stop, but I don't have time right now. So here's a plan. Here's some code. Here's a project board, and it's kind of like that code's like open source dream where you go, I have an idea, and someone else goes off and builds it. It's been lovely to be part of that. Really,
that's very cool. Is this leaning on any of the kind of other open source packages out there for managing security headers, or is it all bespoke?
It's all bespoke. So it's purely for CSP. It's just a middleware that calls a runtime cache, which is backed by a SQL, or tables in whatever database you're using.
Lovely.
The reason it got patched is because it was all tested against SQLite DB, and then it broke as soon as you went to Microsoft SQL. But thankfully, because of the unit testing, and it's using the Umbraco integration test NuGet package, so I could just switch databases and run my unit tests against multiple databases. So it was really easy to find the problem and really quick to fix.
And at least from my personal experience, CSP was always kind of it could be a nightmare if it wasn't done right, and it was and having a control like this, the granular control over it, instead of just testing it, validating, checking again if it works, etc. That might make it a lot easier. And I think again a lot of ideas you said are already also waiting on the board, like this package that I've in the meantime checked the evaluation of the CSP, but also being able to control it over the domains, etc. Multiple. Did you address the challenge of multiple front-end host names?
For each page? No, not yet. So at the moment it's a singular front-end CSP for all the front end.
Okay. Sure.
When I was trying to work out the database schema, my brain started melting. So I was like, well, if I get the first layer done, I can then understand that, and then we'll go from there and work out the next step. But yeah, eventually it will support. You'll be able to get the long-term plan is it'll have a content app, so you're able to then go onto that page and go, right, well, this page will have that CSP and it'll inherit from parent by default. That's or awesome. Ancestor by default.
Nice.
And my long-term plan for that kind of level of control, because it makes sense to have that. It's got notifications in it as well, so if you've got a particular page template that you know as a developer you need this extra thing, instead of having to go and put it in that CSP, you can inject it into the middleware.
Very cool.
Yeah, really nice. Yeah, people. We can also see that people are excited because I think this topic was also mentioned multiple times, like an interesting and missing in the multiple builds. What I did in the past, and I can't remember if it was done, also at additional health check to check if the CSP is passing or something like that, because and that might be a really interesting one to attach to the package. But that's a great effort, and when I saw it for the first time, I immediately shared it because I think we need a lot of the projects can benefit from it. And yeah, thanks for facilitating this and releasing this one.
So it came about because we worked with another CMS, and one of the other devs built a CSP manager for that CMS. Found it really powerful, really useful. Like our data teams are able to just go and make insane changes in Google Tag Manager and allow the CSP to work still. instead of having to wait for us to do a deployment, which nobody really wants for changing an access on a CSP. It's really hefty. So kind of got built from that, and then, there's plans for things like that version that's been optimized has like auto healing, so it'll do reporting back to the site, and then you can say based off a list elsewhere, like in say like a GitHub repo, you can have an agency whitelist, and so like by default it will start auto healing the CSP based on a list that the agency uses or you use on your site. So there's lots of ideas for me to go and steal from that one and bring them across long term to start building up more and more features. So it's definitely it's why it's had as an alpha, because I know it's not feature complete, and if I wait till feature complete, you'll never get it. So the things that you want to see and want to add, please raise an issue, let me know, then we can start looking at priority for everyone and decide what we want as a community is the priority features.
Yeah, but that's great that you've said that it was inspired by the third party manager like this, because I think all of that might be usually transferred, and then we are missing a lot of amazing things like that. We've discussed it from the perspective of WordPress packages list back in the days, right? That there were a lot of SEO driven or cache boosters and stuff like that, which might be a really nice inspiration for Umbraco packages, and this one is a really nice one as well. So definitely people can test it out and share their needs and introduce the feature requests. And I haven't seen feature complete software yet in my life, so maybe you'll accomplish this one day too. Okay, cool. That's and of course link as usual will be
C# spans as well. So I'm trying to like minimize its memory footprint and its like overhead from it calling itself, but. So if anyone has any better knowledge than me in that area, I'd love to see what I can do to improve it, or even benchmark it, so we can work on it. But yeah,
we need to tag my friend Konrad Kokosa somewhere on Twitter to do the memory review of the allocations out there. But if it's open source, no one stops us from doing it. So definitely, right. If someone wants to play around, let's do that. Awesome. So the link will be, of course, in the video description. It was on your Twitter, Matt, as well, and everyone can find it if they're looking for it, and it's on the marketplace too. So yeah, check it out. And last but not least on our list from this week's releases is Meganaf update. So Callum, tell us more about this one.
WordPress inspired things. This was something I've been meaning to for ages. I obviously came back this week. We needed Meganaf on a project on a V11 site, so I was like, okay, we need to update it then. And so yeah, we did. I know Matt has got an excellent pull request that updated this for V10 and also made it an RCL, which the plan is to get that merged as well at some point with some UI fixes. But yeah, we just needed something out. So the version out, it works on all the latest up to whenever it is. One thing I wanted to point out, though, maybe you could go to the NuGet page for this.
Mm-hmm.
On that. No, you just copy it. No, weird. It's NuGet source on the at the bottom.
NuGet source, yeah.
So I've done multi-targeting on this. You can see, so we've got one version that supports V9 up to 10, the Net 6 one that targets 10 to 11, and then the Net 7 one, which annoyingly targets 11 through 13. And it's kind of highlighting this problem now that this multi-targeting approach, I don't think can continue for as long as we've been using it, because any breaking changes that now happen in 12, I have to release a new version of this package that fixes that. So anyone that's been using the multi-targeted approach as a way of saying, well, I can have this package work on anything, isn't going to be able to do that for much longer if stuff breaks, that is. Interesting.
More so when you start looking at the UI library, because the whole front end back office. So now you've got an RCL, for example, where you've got to handle, well, if I'm on this version, I want this folder to be my RCL content. And it's going to get difficult.
Yeah, I think my view on this is V13 will be on Net 8 as well. So I think I'm going to use that as a completely clean break. And from there, I'm going to remove all the multi-targeted code, just have it work on there, and then we deal with those problems as they come. But it's going to become a lot more tricky. And someone pointed this out in Slack the other day. Maybe they asked, why does the release cadence change slightly? And it's because V10 was released later than planned and was tied to an LTS of the .NET version. Blah 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 blah. It gets a bit complicated. But I guess my point is, this is the first time I've done multi-targeting properly across a code base widely, and I've started to find it more and more painful. I'd love to know other people's views on this, but I feel like I've reached the end of what I can reasonably do here. So
I've got away with it with the CSP package, to be fair. There's one if, and it's in a test. It's not even in the main package.
Yeah.
So far I've managed to avoid it, but I can imagine on more integrated packages, I couldn't imagine trying to run vendor or usync and trying to multi-target across.
This week we were trying to contribute to contentment, or we were doing some very, very crazy things with contentment that it really wasn't supposed to be doing, and trying to understand the code just by looking at it in, say, GitHub is nearly impossible, because there is like if statements around everything, and I do not envy Lee having to maintain that code base. And it did make us think, like, what are people's actual approaches to doing multi-targeting? Are you genuinely installing that package on every version of 8 and testing it, and 9 and 10 and 11? I don't think people are. My view, as bad as this sounds, is compile it for the version that I'm hoping for. As long as it compiles for the rest of them, like I've previously tested it on them, I'm going to assume that's going to continue working, which is probably poor. But I don't know if there's a better way to do this.
Until you don't have 20 people being able to test it amongst every version during one day, that's really not that. And still, it's not something what it's easy to be automated yet, right? So I didn't find any better way, to be honest, too. And still, as we are building usually things for us here and now, building it for here and now and falling back and fixing if it doesn't work for a specific other version might be the best and the most reasonable way. But it's not easy, and thanks, Callum, for flagging it out. And I think that there was a lot of discussions with between people about taking this approach or taking different approaches, and there's no one to rule them all. And unfortunately,
on a testing point, it's that you've got to, it's where that unit testing comes in. So like the CSP package for .1, I retargeted for .7 as well. So it's now running in .NET 6 and .7, but because it's multi-targeted, all my unit tests are also multi-targeted, so that they can switch and they'll actually test against the services code of .NET, Umbraco 10 and Umbraco 11. So it's doable, but again, it's how confident are you writing tests? How much time have you got to write tests? Because a lot of these packages are community time. It's your time. It's do you have time to put that much work into the testing of it to make sure it's working?
100%.
I was fortunate enough that it wasn't on my time, so.
Yeah,
I could, right?
And has made a really great point in the chat there as well, that actually testing becomes even more difficult when the fact is, and multi-targeting becomes even more difficult or impossible when you have people who are perfectly able to run Net 5 stuff on Net 6 or Net 7 because it's fully backwards compatible, whereas we can't make packages in multi-targeted code in that way. So becomes a real testing nightmare, and you find people, I know Matt's had this with vendor, raising issues saying it's not working. It's like, well, the reason it's not working is because you're running a Net 6 version on V9 or something. We've actively held back we've actively held back upgrading packages so that we can use a version that was previously targeting, that wasn't supporting, that wasn't multi-targeting, so we could use it on Net 6 and all this sort of stuff. I see Lars is trolling in the chat as well.
Yeah, I was smiling to myself.
That's why the CSP package has tests.
You don't need to debug and write tests if you're writing perfect software code, right? Without any issues.
The unintended feature. That's real.
Oh yeah, but that's life. That's if it was easy, everyone would be doing it, right? That's the thing. So that's not easy. Same as Umbraco upgrades from various versions, and we can jump to Skrift release and an article from Nurhag about how he upgraded his Umbraco V7 project to Umbraco 11, and it is still a hot topic, I can say, from at least my perspective. I was literally also doing the seminar yesterday on the same topic yesterday in Norway, and it was a lot of discussions, and still a lot of discussions, still not clear paths. There are a couple paths cleared up, but everyone, and I can't remember, I have a slides, I will share them somewhere, gathered from the community on how they approach that. Nurhak was one of the people who shared his experiences. And yeah, it seems like a really nice wrap up of how he approached this particular migration. Of course, we know in our IT industry that everything depends. So this was this path that make it work. And yeah, I think this was a really great story from his perspective on how he approached that. And by a look on the article, everyone can see that it's even though it's done, it wasn't an easy journey with a lot of gotchas on the way. Have you guys updated a lot of websites from 7, 8 to beyond?
Yeah, we did a big 8 to 10 cloud upgrade actually pre Christmas, and it was let's say a world of pain. I wish it was as smooth as some of the some other people have said. We had membership in there, we had custom routes, we had all kinds of stuff. Custom routes, in fact, if you were using a form inside that and trying to post back to a service controller, just didn't work since V9. And thankfully, thanks to, is it Justin Neville? Yeah, Justin Neville fixed it, and it's in 10.4 and 11.1, so that's awesome if you want to do that. But yeah, we had a lot of, it was complicated, and then some cloud issues to boot as well. But in hindsight, with that knowledge, I'm pretty confident that we can do that upgrade again fairly seamlessly. So yeah.
And you, Matt, have you approached that?
Yeah, to get the battle scars from 8 to 10. I've done 7 and 6 to 8, but I haven't done a 9 and 10 yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's always that first one. Once you've got one under your belt, it gets a little bit easier each time you do them.
Yeah. And fun fact was that recently we had one project that we wanted to update from V7 to V8 because it seemed to be easy because the database can be just pumped, updated, and set, etc. But it turned out that we are using a lot of community packages out there that are no longer supported, such as LeBlender, for example, right? So and there is a lot of gotchas like this. So it's not the same process to rule them all again, and yeah, it's really requires some analyzer.
Yeah, at least with a fair few of the like V7 packages, there were good 8 alternatives. So like obviously, if you had new pickers, you could switch out to contentment, and you're not just getting 8, then you're also getting 9 and beyond.
Yeah,
that's exactly the approach we've taken, and this week alone, actually, I've produced 2 different. We call them like a dependency report, where we look at an old solution, whether that's regardless of the version, and we look at where we're trying to get to, and we say how are we going to mitigate any upgrade paths. Here, common one is archetype to who knows what. So we've generally done, well, we've got a V7 site running archetype. We've generally updated that to nested content inside V7. We've got a load of migrator code that does that, and then we can migrate it. Things like new pickers, we've put those into we've changed them to a label property, upgraded as far as we need to get, and then we've introduced contentment for those properties, and then written something that goes through and remaps all of that data to be the right shape for contentment going forward. Yeah, it's a bit messy, but again, once you've got one under your belt, as Matt said, you've got the code that worked before. It becomes relatively easy to do.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and still, it's about sharing journeys, and maybe there should be a repository of stories like this somewhere gathered to maybe stop us from repeating the same mistakes all the time.
A GitHub repo somewhere
with
a load of like a collation of things that you can go and like. It wasn't like here's how to do stuff, but it was like there's this over here, there's this here, this here. I'm sure like it has like a repo somewhere around.
I've got a load of like dodgy SQL scripts I can chuck in there that fix loads of upgrade issues as well that maybe if you can find out.
I know Matt blog, hasn't he, as well, on moving properties between tabs and components and.
Unfortunately, I've done that manually so many times now. I remember it off by heart, which is probably not a good thing. But yeah,
straight from memory. You can write it on the card from the memory, right? In the notepad.
I've transcribed over Slack to someone how to do it before.
But then there's still a kind of using migrate approach. There's Murayama's elevate approach. There's a lot of kind of approaches to the same challenges. So that's good to have them and decide on your own adventure with upgrading packages, because that's how it is. Second article from this release was about Kubernetes. It was from Bogdan, and with the non-standard usage of Umbraco. That is hosted on Kubernetes. I haven't checked it in depth yet, I must admit. I don't know what about you guys. If you dived into Kubernetes, I try to avoid everything Kubernetes related to not fear FOMO.
I've done Kubernetes stuff, but I've not. It's not worth it for Umbraco, is my view. I wrote an article in Skrift in 2018 that said exactly that, and I still stand by it. Use PaaS type stuff, use web apps, Elastic Beanstalk, whatever you want. It's only valuable, and same with Docker, really, only valuable if you need to ship and manage infrastructure components alongside your Umbraco installation, is my view. But I've not read this article. I don't know what Bogdan's suggesting that people can do with it.
Yeah. We need to check it, but I also heard a lot of feedback like this. So I would love to see more feedback from people who might use it, because I know that some agencies are forced to use Kubernetes, and they're jumping into the Umbraco projects recently. So maybe they will also share their experience with it, and we can all learn from it and see when and if it can help us, and then we can discuss. So yeah, that's article to be read then. But we will have some great opportunities to exchange knowledge soon, and this is one of the exciting things that we've discussed also with Rune before the break, and hopefully we're all excited also for it. So community events, and not only community events, generally events in the upcoming year, and the one is already aligned and starting on January 19th.
Next week, next Thursday.
Next week, yay!
Yes.
And Callum, you are behind the community team organizing it. So just briefly tell us more about it. And,
I'll be in the Netherlands most of next week, which will be good. We've got a packed day of great talks from fantastic Umbraco speakers, fantastic Microsoft speakers, accessibility. We've got Mads Torgersen. We've got kind of everyone you'd want to see on an event, and it's completely free and it's online, and you can watch it. We'd love for people to watch and tune in live and chat with us, but equally, you can watch it back afterwards if you absolutely have to. We've got, the idea was to kind of travel around the world and have different people from all over the globe. So we've got Australia, we've got Indonesia, we've got Europe, UK, Netherlands, various parts of the US. I've probably forgotten some. Oh, South Africa, Denmark. A lot. It should be really good. And Niels Lungso is going to do a great semi-interactive, call it a code along, actually, around lunchtime on Thursday, so you can get started with the block grid and kind of tailor that and make it look good and work how you want it to. So at the very least, tune in on your lunch break and join in with that. It should be pretty fun. You can hit the register button, put your email address in, and we'll give you a prompt to say, come and join us. But yeah, should be really good. And we've got, as I said, Mads Torgersen talking about C# 11, 12? I don't know. I've lost track. Right at the end of the day, closing off
11.
What's new in C# 11? It's a little bit early to be talking about C# 12 stuff. But yeah, they're going to talk about that. I think it's going to be a really excellent day. Come join us.
It looks amazing from the agenda perspective, and I'm sure it will be great. So yeah, as you've mentioned, register to get informed, and you will be definitely sending the recap too for those who might not be able to attend it live.
A goal internally of 50 concurrent people watching all day would be awesome. So if we can hit that would be awesome.
That's nice. Yeah, so that's the start of the year from the community perspective and events perspective too. The next on the list is Umbraco Spark. That is also not that far in time. It's March 10th. in Bristol, and the registration is open.
Yeah, tickets are on sale. They're £80 plus VAT, which I think is a bargain still. 2 tracks of excellent talks. I'm pretty sure they have got the track 1 speakers nailed down and sorted. They're not here yet. I'll try not to leak anything. But for track 2, they've still got a CFP open. Go to the Spark.com, umbraCoffee.com site, fill that in. They want it by the 31st of January. So 2.5 weeks. But they have said if they fill it up sooner than that, they will just close it. So don't wait. Submit some talk ideas if you've got them. I think it will be a great event. It's been 3 years since Spark.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was. I remember like pre-COVID, it was like the last event that a lot of people were at. It was literally like 2 days after or something.
It was very like, I mean, at the time we didn't know it, but looking back on it, it was very touch and go.
Yeah, exactly. Very close. I was already scared that I would be stopped on the airport by when I was coming back, but that was that close. But it was really great event, and we can always just recommend it for everyone who might want to attend. So please do check it. And speaking about events, also Code Garden tickets went up on sale, and there's early bird price for the in-person event now already revealed.
People who watched the New Year's reception, there was a code for a super early bird discount, which was either first 100 tickets or the first 24 hours. I don't know which one got hit, but they're not available anymore. So this is the cheapest price you will be able to get a Code Garden ticket at €750 plus taxes.
VAT, yeah. So the tickets are on sale. The program will be now updated more often, I assume, and we will definitely keep an eye
as well. So it's also to see some people coming back that we've not had before, like Maria Nagaga. It's been 2 or 3 years since, was it 2019 maybe that Maria was there? Some of the usual HQ faces, and just
some new people from Stripe, for example, right? And that's really good start already. And as we usually do, we'll be updating ourselves and you guys watching always with the new updates and agenda changes and anything else. But the proposals are still open.
Yeah, for another month or just less than a month, like 28 days, 4 weeks. Which means now is the time to really start thinking about it. You know, everyone's going to submit them on the last day, but
I should probably put that in the calendar reminder so I actually remember what the date is, because I'm doing
that right now. I have got 2 ideas, but I want to know what the best. Maybe people in the chat have an idea here. What's the best way to validate those ideas, to see what should be submitted, what people might be
Twitter poll, maybe.
Twitter poll, yeah, but then I don't want to like
how much you've got written for me. If you've got enough written that you could do a meetup talk.
I'm not doing it. I'm not.
It's like a good comedians testing their programs, right, in front of the smaller group of people. Yeah, that's an idea. And now I don't remember if I submitted my talks, but I probably did it already when it went out. But that's another problem this time. But
I know it's whether I've got another one that I think will be better. But we'll find out.
Yeah, but that's good. Reminder, also a practical reminder to submit if there are some ideas to be shared out there. The dates are out for a while already. Tickets are on sale, so it's this time of the year when everyone is
I saw
planning.
Dan Lister tweeted to say he's already booked his flights, so it's happening. It's really happening.
Impressive planning skills, I must admit. And now the last one to mention, it's DK Fest.
Yes.
So the videos are out. Sorry.
Refresh the page. They've got a strange cookie thing that blocks everything rendering unless you've accepted their cookies.
Okay, that's something is here, but I can recap on that. All the videos are out. Yep. So that was something what we wanted to mention. So the talks can be rewatched, and that's Callum, you were talking there. We were summarizing the event already, so now everyone can recap on what was missed from there. So that's it. And last but not least, just before we went live, we received this link from from our secret pull request of the week supplier all the time. And yeah, we have a pull request to be mentioned that fixes the copy of the content with descendants with appropriate sorting order applied.
Oh wow!
So,
I've never even noticed that, but that's not something I often do.
Yeah, but that's a small thing that probably was there for a while, right? And if not from the beginning, but it turned out that that this is there, and I believe that all of the people who are copying it over, and I just imagine when I read about it, like a news listing page or something like that to be copied over between the two nodes, 100 news and lost sorting, for example. That would be that was definitely a nightmare.
It's one of those where a editor will just be like, oh, it's just a thing it does. Like, they'll never come back to you as devs and go, oh, like when I do this, this happens, and it's like we'll just never find it.
Totally. Sorting is something that was so broken. I think it might even still be so broken, but it was very broken in 7 to the point where if you had more than about 100 nodes and you tried to sort it, it would basically crash your whole Umbraco install. And editors would tell us that, or editors wouldn't tell us that, sorry. They'd just go, it's crashed, what's happened? And we'd have to go dig and find out. It turns out they'd just done a sort, and then in the end had to put some alternative way of them sorting nodes in with like a range slider or something on each node. Really mad, but yeah, you're absolutely right, Matt. It's one of those things that editors might just accept is the case and never really think to mention.
Yeah. But it's those that eventually lead to people not liking the platform, because they just start living with compromises, and it's like, no, they're the things that we need to know about because we can fix them and make everyone's lives better. So. Or
exactly, they could just moan about it internally between editors, not in front of the people who are able to really fix it. And this it turned out like a relatively easy thing to be fixed. So we need more of this. We need more of this to improve the platform, because it's easy to blame the platform, but it's not easy to find these issues if you are not using it day by day, and you are not the one who is moaning on that one.
Differently as well, because you have that technical knowledge. You might use it completely differently to someone who isn't technical.
For sure.
And so you skip routes, like right-clicking on a node to get to a different menu. It's like, well, what I'm clicking on it normally behaves differently, but you never do it.
Or write SQL queries straight from your memory just to do it instead of clicking UI, right? that can be done. That can be done. No, but that was a really good pull request, and yeah, as I said, we will be also highlighting it anytime when something like this will help us. And now we can sort and copy, so that's good. And that's all for what we have prepared for today. It's good to be back. It was a good catch up, and thanks, Matt, again for joining us and sharing and releasing the new package. And yeah, looking for more. And we've been challenged somewhere in the middle of the break, like Discord reached out at 1,000 users or something.
Discord, like 1,000.
Discord, yeah. That's exactly something what I wanted to mention.
Discord now, Callum. It's already had.
If we can have only one goal for this year, 1,000 subscribers before the Cold Garden again.
I think a goal, the 2023 goal has to be 1,000 subscribers. We're only 146 away, so we can
still like monetize it. The umbraCoffee news feed though in Discord. That's what you need to get on now. So when you're about to go live, you need to alert the news channel in Discord.
We need to write a bot.
Yeah.
Is
I'm
Corner
sure
watching?
Who know what they're doing? I'm sure they can sort it out for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to do it. But yeah, thank you all for coming back also to see us and see and catch up with us. Thanks for your activity, and as usual, we'll catch up next week. So yeah, stay busy, release new stuff, and see you next week, everyone. Thank you very much.